Have you ever considered the difference between tact and candor? Well, candor involves speaking openly and honestly in a straightforward way, while tact refers to our ability to communicate openly in a considerate and sensitive way. So both candor and tact promote transparency and openness, but tact emphasizes diplomacy. In fact, I think of it this way. Candor's main goal is to be direct, while tact's main goal is to be diplomatic. Now, you might be asking, why do I need to be diplomatic when I'm communicating with other people? Well, the honest answer is influence. You see, a lot of times when people speak candidly, they do so with brutal honesty or without regard for how their message will impact their listener. So they may get their message across, but they'll also have lost their ability to positively influence their listener with their words. Now, tact, on the other hand, emphasizes finesse and respect and consideration for others. Most definitions define tact as an adroit way of communicating, which means skillful and clever. That's really the difference between the two. Now, none of this is intended to suggest that candor is inherently blunt or that tact is inherently soft, because candor can be considerate and tact can be sharp. But I do tend to consider tact to be the more skillful supplement of candor. I mean, for one thing, tact doesn't only know how best to speak at any given moment, it also knows when it's best to not speak at all.
That was very tactful.
All right, anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
I'm
A
about
lot
to
of
first.
times when you get on the internet, you find a lot of people. I know that we have problems, the women on the women's side, on the man's side. A lot of the times when we finally get to that place of understanding, we want to I want to get my message out, but we're not taking into consideration people's feelings. They are human beings. They need their respect. It's a way to say things without condemning everybody. And that's why you missed them completely. If you thought you was changing somebody's mind, you're not. So we have to learn the skill of tech, because if you really care about your community and you want to see it grow, then you would be doing your children and grandchildren a service by speaking to about the other gender with a lot of tact, understanding, and nuance. And yes, we do want to have the candor of being direct. Sometimes we try to smooth it out too much, and the message gets lost. So you have to have that delicate balance depending on what you're saying. But if you want to reach the masses, you're going to have some kind of tact, or you're just going to alienate yourself on one side. And you're like, a lot of men will say stuff, but then only have men listening to them. So how are you ever going to change anything? The women not listening to you because you said it in a rude way, a disrespectful manner, and you're still talking about them like they're objects. We said that all night today, that you guys look at us like objects a lot of times until it's like you're the one, right? So, or your mom. If it's not your woman, your mom or your daughter, everybody's an object, or everybody can be disrespected. They don't get your respect. But if, as leaders, if we can start giving respect first and speaking in a certain kind of way where, hey, I respect you and I know where you came from. I know you have a lot of trauma. Let's work that out so the next generation don't have to do anything instead of condemning everybody to hell.
Is that the reason why y'all thought Kevin Samuels might have been disrespectful?
Women receive messaging very different, right? I think men can be candid with each other and it not be seen a certain way. Whereas women in communication with them, you need to be tactful, right? If a woman was to speak to you in the same way that y'all relate to each other, y'all would consider her being disrespectful or masculine, right? So as women, we, I think, learn early how to navigate the space of communication in terms of having tact, because there's a certain balance that we have to learn early on about communicating. I'll say those who were raised correctly. Okay, let me put that caveat. Let me put the caveat on there. Right?
We never lie tonight now.
Especially like in places like the workplace or things like that, you learn how to navigate spaces in which communication is important, right? And I remember, I remember Marcus, like I've said this before, a lot of guys will get on us when, women in these spaces, when we're saying things like, like pay attention to the way that you say things if you want us to receive it. And they're like, well, no, just listen to the message. That's the point. You know, like they're so harsh on the way that I'm just going to say what I want to say, disregard how you feel about it, how it comes out, just listen to the message. But if you're trying to change people's minds, or if you're trying to have them, you know, really listen to what you're saying and navigate spaces, you're gonna have to learn the art of tactfulness. You just are.
Remember how your parents were. When your parents yelled at you a certain kind of way and they were disrespectful and rude, even if they were telling the truth, you didn't receive that message.
Right. I kind of, so mistaken. I agree with you on a lot of parts, but I have to disagree with you on you majority saying that women can be tactful. I think women try to really get a pass and being more candid most of the time and saying it's just the truth, take it. Especially with speaking to men, especially with speaking to men in this space that we're currently in. I feel that women get a pass and are expected for men to give them grace when speaking disrespectfully or using certain words and certain terms, but men are held to a different standard and expectation of, okay, well, speak to me softly because I'm a woman, but then turn around and then literally spew anything and say, well, I'm just being real, or I'm just being straight up, or I'm just telling it like it is. And it's, oh, I'm a woman, so whatever, I'm in this space, just take what I'm saying. And it's like, that's not really, I can't speak for everybody. I'm speaking for Black women in the space that we are all participating in right now. And I watch a lot of different panels outside of Lapeef Network, and it's a trend, y'all. And I mean, I'm just gonna be real tonight. It is a trend of no tact, no couth, no tact coming out of women's mouths in this space.
Can y'all give us an example of something that y'all may feel like it's not no tact or maybe disrespectful in this space when men talk to women? Like an example?
I was talking about women talking to men.
Oh, okay. So you saying women?
Yeah, I disagree. Yeah, I disagree with mistaken. I said women don't automatically talk to men with tact. I said that they expect a certain level of tact and grace and tenderness when a man is speaking to them. But within our space that we are currently participating in, women step outside and cross those boundaries every single day by not having tact and expected to just be like, oh, I'm just being real, or I'm telling it like it is, or if you don't like it, oh, well, I'm not dating you, so I don't have to respect you. Saying different things like that is kind of literally within the past couple of weeks, I've heard a few women use that type of verbiage of, I think it was a panel that Shan was on, women saying that they aren't nice to men because it's not the man that they're dating, so they are not nice, or they're not kind, and they don't have nothing for a man that they're not dating or is not their father or their brother. There's something wrong with that.